Everyone has their opinions about Dante Bowe and Tim Ross. There's been hundreds of videos made of these two men alone in the past couple months because of their antics. And these videos are coming from Christians. And I've been a part of that as well, especially with everything that happened with Dante Bowe and Bad Bunny and Maverick City Music. I made a video about that. I asked you guys to comment on that. I've also made a video about Tim Ross. Now, here recently, Dante Bowe was on The Basement with Tim Ross. And they did an interview, a sit-down interview at Tim's house. And the interview went for, I believe, an hour and 30, 40 minutes. Now, in this video, I'm going to play you clips from that hour-long video. And of course, feel free to go to Tim's channel to check out the entire video. So without further ado, let's dive into the actual clips of the video. And I want to hear from you in the comments below.
Fast for me. It was super fast. Like 3 years of doing it, and I had a Grammy, a #1 in my name, not just with Maverick City, not just with Bethel. I had my own #1s. You know, I had worked with everybody in the genre. I've been, at every label. They offered me deals, and it was really traumatic. It was so traumatic, bro. And I think people look at me and other people like, oh, if you're famous, they put you on this like pedestal, right? And it's like, I'm still like 24, 23 years old. Like I'm growing up, like, and it's like you're forced to kind of grow up fast too. Like you don't have the same, you can't process the same way as a normal 24-year-old would process. You have to do it as Dante Bowe. Like, and I didn't even ask to be like this person that they made me be. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Obviously, God called me, and He graced me for it in a way, but it didn't feel that way, man. It felt traumatic, and so doing all this stuff, going on tours, and like being in a part of the church and being ridiculed every day, comments, because at that point, at that level, you kind of got to expect, everything you say is like, it can be held against, I feel like everything I said or everything I did, I'm like nervous. I didn't want to post. I didn't want to say this, do this, what I mean? So it affected my life in a big way. Yeah. And I think me being who I was, a lot of times I didn't have someone to help me through it. Yeah. Because I had maybe more than them, or they saw me as whatever the case may be, they saw me as somebody that they look up to. Even if they were older than me or like maybe more wise than me, they still wouldn't necessarily offer me an opinion because it's like, your life is fruitful, you know what I mean? And I was just broken, like, you know what I'm saying? Like in a way, people are so soulish, and they just think about the sins, or whatever the case may be. But no, it's like I was really like struggling as a young man with this amount of success. Like, my mama, my daddy, everybody reached out to me for money, like cousins and I have a staff, and then I have, I got to go over here with Bethel. Asking God, you start making the coolest decisions, like more elevated decisions. Yeah. I can forgive my enemies now.
That part.
Like, that's what I mean by reborn.
That part.
I couldn't forgive my enemies for some, I thought I forgave them, but it's like now I really don't see my enemies in a negative way. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me in and of itself. Yeah. Like, I feel like they're all necessary. Yeah. I did not feel that way before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
That's real. Like, even Jesus just being elevated, like making more elevated decisions. Like, I used to try, anyway, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff I'm learning, and it sounds like elementary school stuff, but it's like, that's just where I am. I'm like, I'm back at my foundation. I'm back like trying to figure him out, and like, not that I can, but I'm saying like just his nature, how he is, how elevated he was, how nice and kind he was, like in a real way. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm there now. That's where I am. I'm happy. Yeah. And I was never happy.
Interesting.
I was never happy. If you met me when I was on tour or something like that, at the top of my career, I was not that happy. because I worked a lot, and I was working without communion. Like I was really in my own flesh. Like I can like in my mind I can go back to it. Like I really, like my flesh is obviously, our flesh is weak. Like I was really doing it in my own strength. Like I was just fleshy. You know what I'm saying? And it was tiring me out. And I'm just thinking it's everybody else's fault. Everybody else is doing this and doing that, you know. And there was like, obviously there's negativity around you a little bit. It's an industry, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
But man, I was so tired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like, you know, I was being elevated by Jesus, but I wasn't like, my life wasn't elevated. My personal life was not elevated. But my professional life, I'm like some superstar to somebody. You know what I mean? It was crazy for me, and I was just unhappy. I wanted out of it. I started hating making music. I started hating Christians because of all the comments. Like I couldn't even go to church. I stopped going to church because I didn't want to see Christians. Because they were, you know, they were the ones talking crap to me on the internet.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so now it doesn't bother me for some reason. Like I pray, I really do love the Lord. And now I see how elevated he was. It wasn't even about him giving us rules to just give us rules. He was just trying to teach us how to be classiest, like the more elevated versions of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like him inviting Judas to the dinner and Judas kissing him, and then like he's, you know, he knows he's like somebody's gonna betray me. You know what I mean? He knew what it was, but it's like I'm not pressed like that. I don't ever want to look pressed. I used to be so pressed. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's the coolest thing to do? To do whatever Jesus did. He was so cool. He was so unbothered. I feel like it's always something holding you back, or you're gonna always be held back by fear and anxiety and anger and like just feeling like, you know, nah, they did me dirty. Like it's always gonna hold you back if you allow it to. And I felt like somebody pushing me to be like, nah, like get past it. Now I'm done with it. Now I can move on. Like it's over. Like, you know what I mean? For real.
You're feeling that?
Yeah, for real. You know, like when I was younger, I loved making music. And that's kind of how I feel right now when I'm making music. Like I'm not doing it for a record label or for a number one or fame. I got caught up in all that because we all were. But it's like now I really genuinely, like I'm at peace. Like I'm a kid. You know what I mean? I don't have a lot of distractions and a lot of things going on in my head. You know what I mean? I look back, we were in Costa Rica. I look at my manager, I'm like, did I write 3 albums? Did I not? I was like, is it 3 albums? She's like, yeah, you did 3 albums. I didn't even notice. I just kept recording song after song after song after song after song, revelation after revelation after revelation. I have 1 worship album, 1 gospel R&B album-ish, and then I have 1 that's just kind of all of it. And so I didn't even know, bro. I was just recording, man, because I was happy. Like I could walk in my purpose with clarity when you don't have a lot of stuff going on, you know what I mean? You know, he wants us to be joyful givers, you know. And sometimes my offering I wasn't that joyful. I was giving a lot of stuff, giving. I wasn't joyful. But Jesus, he loves when we offer things, but his desire is for us to be joyful givers. And I think sometimes we clutter our own minds and clutter our own hearts. And I feel like prayer is the reason why I don't have all the distractions and clutter anymore. I really do pray a lot. I pray all the time. Out like right before this, by myself in my head, like all. I really do. You know, and I feel like that's the reason. I want to say that's one of the reasons I feel like I've come to this new place, this new hope, joy, peace. You know, I'm genuinely happy, and I feel like it's gonna, in my opinion, you know, I think it already has to my friends and stuff, but I think it's gonna help people with depression. I really do. I really do. I think it's gonna help people with anxiety and depression, specifically like in suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. Because it's I feel like I'm writing it for those people in a way. You know
for sure.
I see the hurt in Dante's eyes in some of the moments in the video, But however, I see the true qualities, the godly qualities, the leadership, and the humbleness that Dante has in his heart. So there's no denying that Dante is a man after God's own heart, just like David was. And for all of you holy rollers, you saved saints who don't sin, I want you to have compassion for not only Dante and Tim, but for myself as well. Because we're all messed up and we're sinners in need of a Savior. And that Savior is Jesus Christ. So for everyone that has not accepted Jesus Christ as Lord over your life, I invite you to do that in this moment. And I'm going to continue to pray for Tim and Dante, because I couldn't imagine the pressure and the anxiety and the stress that they go through on a daily basis. Let me know your comments below. Thank you for your support, and always strive to remain set apart. Take care.